So we are down to the Chapter 6 of the National Building Code of the Philippines, also known as the Republic Act number 6541. So by the way, I'm Christopher Layupan and I'll be reporting the fire resistive requirements in construction. So, when we say construction of a completely fireproof structure may turn out to be a bit costly, but it is always possible to build structure with significant fire resistance at an acceptable budget. So this can be achieved by considering fire resistant requirements of a building. So let's proceed to the section 601, also known as the fire resistive rating. So fire resistive rating means the degree to which a material can withstand fire as determined by generally recognized and accepted testing methods. So let's further discuss this with the next section. So section 602, or also known as the fire resistive time period rating, it is the length of time a material can withstand being burned, which may be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and etc. So this is the example of fire resistance rating of structural elements in hours by the National Building Code of the Philippines. So example of structural elements are fire separation assemblies, right enclosure of exit ways, shaft other than exit ways, elevator hoist ways, exit way access corridors, vertical separation of tenant spaces, dwelling unit separation, and the non-load bearing partitions. So here, at the right corner, we have the type of construction. So whether it's type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. And this, based on this type of construction, we have the fire resistive time period rating. So for fire separation assemblies, on type 1, we have at least 4 hours. And for type 2, we have 2 hours. For type 3, we have 2 hours. And for type 4, we have 2 hours of fire resistance. So, as so on with the other example. So, another is the section 603 or the fire resistive standards. So, all materials of construction and assemblies or combinations thereof shall be classified according to their fire retardant or flame spread ratings as determined by general accepted testing methods and or by the secretary or the authority who conducted the inspection. So here are the fire resistive standards. So type of assembly and materials like exterior wall. For exterior wall, we have solid concrete, hollow masonry, and solid masonry. And for column, like all faces exposed, they reinforce concrete column. So here, the fire system standards based on time, 4 hours, from 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, and 1 hour. By the way, this 180, the unit for this is at least a minimum of a 180 millimeter for solid concrete during the 4 hours resistance. So for hollow masonry, we have 200 millimeter. For solid masonry, we have at least a 300 millimeter thickness, and for column, a reinforced concrete column, we have at least a 450 millimeter thickness, and so on with 3 hours, 2 hours, and a 1 hour. So lastly, we have the section 604 or the fire resistive regulations. In here, it entails that the Secretary shall provide standard or describe standards and promulgate rules and regulations on the testing of construction materials for flame spread for flame characteristics, and test on fire damage, fire test on building construction and materials, door assemblies, and single fire doors and windows assemblies, the installation of fire doors and windows, and smoke and fire detectors for fire protective signaling system, application and use of controlled interior finish, fire-resistive protection for structural members, fire-resistive walls and partitions, fire-resistive floor or roof ceiling, fire-resistive assemblies for protection of openings and fire-retardant roof coverings. So, these are the fire-resistive regulations based on the NBCP Code of the Philippines. So here in our last slides, we have the example of a fire-resistive construction based on its thickness. So we have the walls, the floors, and the staircase. So here are for fire resistance of this construction, we have the minimum thickness of each each building parts. So from walls, floors, and staircase. So that would be all. Thank you.